This is the cathartic segment of the week where we just vent, let it out. Tell us why you're mad. Number one, who you got?
I got two NBAs. Number one, how about the Suns being all annoyed at Zion Williamson on Friday night because they lost that game in New Orleans and he dunked with 4 seconds to go. Here's a guy who hasn't played in 2 years. I understand the game was over. He's a young kid. You're going to make a big deal about this? A Phoenix team that did not show up in Game 7 of the conference second round last year in the West against Dallas, got annihilated, including Chris Paul, and then came back 2 days later against New Orleans. You think they'd be mad? Well, let's get back at them. They lost again. But how in the world could you make a big deal? They had a Cameron Payne. Oh, nonsense. He took and made a dunk with 4 seconds to go. I understand the game is over. Get off the court and get ready for the next game. I cannot believe that Phoenix, that by the way has done nothing in the last 2 years. They make a big deal about how good they are. Nothing. I cannot believe they made a big deal about that. Drove me crazy.
I will say this to you. I didn't have a problem with them being upset about it, okay? Because there's a level of decorum that you're supposed to follow. How you're supposed to handle it is, I'll see you next time. And they were going to see him in just a couple of days. You went out a couple of days later in less than 48 hours, and you lost to them again. So to me, I side with you because Phoenix didn't back up things the way they were supposed to. What you were supposed to do was say, all right, Zion, y'all want to roll like that? Okay, we'll see you in a couple of hours. We'll see you in a couple of days. We're going to bust y'all living you know what. And instead, they still lost to New Orleans again.
Phoenix is a soft team. That's the first.
I'm not going to
I'm not for Phoenix.
I'm not going to disrespect them like that.
All right, number two.
Yeah.
Number two. Now, they won the game, unfortunately, because I would love to go crazy. Mm-hmm. The NBA does not sell team. The NBA sells personality. Durant, Irving, big personalities. They beat a game on Friday night. They beat Atlanta. It's game 26. This is a team that's done nothing. And everybody doesn't play on the next day in Indiana on the road. It wasn't like Durant didn't play and Irving did, or vice versa. Nobody played. Did you see it? Him and I could have been in the lineup. Now, they won, which drives me crazy because I would have had a fun time if they lost, but that is just disrespectful. A road game against Indiana, and then the owner tweets after the game, look at us like he's proud that somehow they won the game with a bunch of backups. The NBA sells stars. The NBA doesn't sell the uni, they sell the stars. They don't come see the Lakers, they come see LeBron. They don't come see the Mavericks, they come see Jokic. They sell stars. Your stars have to play a little bit. It's game 26. I couldn't believe it. And the owner tweeted it out.
I will say this to you. I was listening to your channel. The great JT the Brick, who's a friend of mine, was hosting his show, and they were talking about this subject, and they were lamenting the same thing. The players, and what no one's talking about enough, is the damage the players are doing to future generations of players because of a collective bargaining agreement that will come up, or collective bargaining negotiations. When you miss games like this, when you show such just no regards for the fans, you're going to pay that price because the fans are going to be the first to show you you're going to pay the price, and then the owners are going to follow suit, and they're going to negotiate something to make sure that the fans are aware that the players have to fulfill an obligation. You're off 6 months of the year, most of the teams. I understand not back-to-back sometimes or whatever, but you have to be considerate of the fans to sit everybody down. No Kyrie, no KD, no Ben Simmons, no anybody. To do that, the bottom line is this. You're showing a disregard for the fans, and you are going to pay a price for that. They are hurting future generations of players because of the actions of these guys with their load management and all that stuff. But it's the teams, too. It's not just the players. A lot of times players want to play, and the teams make them sit down.
If Durant wanted to play, he could have gotten in there and played the game. And the owner,
he always plays.
He wants to play. All right, number 3 is a good one. I guess it's a small one. I couldn't find a 4th and 2 thing this week. How does Scott Novak and his officiating crew call this a roughing the passer penalty against Herbert? Did you see? Not Herbert, Tua. Did you see this? No, it's Herbert. I was right the first time.
Herbert. You was right the first time.
What a joke! And not only that, the flag took forever. They punted, and then Tirico sits there and says he couldn't believe it. What? There's a penalty? And Novak is one of these guys who thinks we're all there to see him officiate. Because he's always official, the offsides, and, roughing the passer, timeout. Oh, it drives you crazy. We don't watch you. We watch the players. But for that to be called, he didn't even put his weight on him. Even the guy in the booth, the official they used, Terry McCauley, he never knocks anybody. Even he couldn't believe the call. That drove me crazy. And I was rooting for the Chargers. That drove me nuts.
They're excessive with their protection of the quarterback. The quarterback needs to be protected because you're standing in the pocket, you're getting hit. It's not like you can brace yourself, defend yourself. But in the end, this is professional football, and the calls have gotten a bit too excessive and something.
This one was a joke.
Without question.
How would they call this? You see it?
Can you imitate the ref again?
You know, he's official. He wants everybody like he's a Broadway.
It's a big show.
I saw you.
Just do the ballet move again.
I saw Hugh Jackman this week in The Music Man. He was great. And Novak thinks he's Hugh Jackman. Yeah. Oh, time out. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Take it easy. We don't watch you.
And we all know this move for the punter.
My left foot.
Can't be any more stiff. All right, you're the best. Still to come. Usually this wouldn't be an anticipated matchup, but both of these teams have something to prove this season. Which team's gonna make the playoffs? We debated. And the Bucks took a major decline this season. I love when you say next. You prompt me. It's great. A fan was thrown out of the Warriors versus the Bucks game Tuesday night after exchanging words with Draymond Green as Giannis lined up for 2 free throws with 6:30 left in the third of an eventual 128-111 Bucks win. A fan with baseline courtside seats heckled Green, and here's Draymond on that incident.
What did they say to you?
Some threatening stuff to my life. So, I was this close to really going back and like diving all the way in, but kind of just went back and told the official. And when I told the official what he said, he's like, "Oh, he got to get out of here." And he got to get out of here.
Wendy, I need you to speak. Say something for me.
Good morning.
Good morning. There we go. It's a beautiful Wednesday.
Floor is yours, Greeny. Floor is yours, Wendy.
Oh,
You never say Greeny.
Every time you go to an NBA game, there's a little card that is placed on all of the seats at courtside, which instructs the people who sit courtside and pay those huge prices what they are expected of in terms of conduct. This has been the case for years in the NBA. Everybody knows it. I would say to Draymond Green, who, by the way, was fined like 7 or 8 days ago, $25,000 for interacting with a courtside fan. Don't interact with courtside fans. But guess what? Draymond Green's going to do what he wants. He also, maybe he thinks it helps him get more involved in the game. And Giannis is at the line. He's got 30 seconds. He's killing time, apparently. But you have to, at the end of the day, you have to protect the players. And you're always going to err on the side of protecting the players. I think Draymond could keep himself out of these types of situations, but there's been many things over the course of his career where that could be true, and he has gone ahead and done it his own way. And so this is probably going to keep happening off and on in the NBA. We see a handful of things like this every year, but for the most part, everybody gets along and is behaved. There's only these rare occasions where it's a thing, and hopefully it's not something that's too serious.
Well, that's why I would challenge you, Wendy, with all due respect on what you're saying right now in this respect. Draymond Green has been in the league for a decade. When has he had a player removed? A fan removed, I'm sorry. When does that happen? I saw LeBron James have a couple of fans removed in Atlanta last season, I think, if I remember correctly. When has he ever done that in his career? There are times where there is excessive behavior on the part of fans, and what we need to do, instead of stepping back and looking at the player, why not look at what got the player to the point where he wanted somebody ejected? What did they say? Because I've been in arenas my entire career, and some of the things that are said, and Russell Westbrook said this one time, and he was absolutely right. He said he's not going to take any mess because he can't stand